Oh, hey there, this is Dr. Evan Osar, just working on my eye dissociation. Happy Saturday! Welcome to this edition of Integrative Movement Insider, where we're discussing the training of the fundamental movement patterns from an integrative movement system perspective. Thank you for being part of our community and allowing us to be part of your community. In this series, we're discussing how we approach training the fundamental movement patterns. So squatting, lunging, bending, pushing, pulling, carrying, and now we're on to posture, balance, and walking. And the reason we're discussing posture, balance, and walking is because these three things are incorporated together. Obviously, you need optimal postural control, which is a piece of balance, and that's maintaining your center of mass somewhere around here where the center of mass generally is for most people, over the base of support. If you're on two legs when you're walking, then it's your center of mass between your 2 feet, and when you get to single leg stance when you're walking and or when you're running, it's a center of mass control of center of mass over your single leg support. Now, last time we talked about just some components of the somatosensory system. There's three systems that control balance. Somatosensory, somato, the body, your body's awareness, or sensory, sensation of your body in space. That's a somatosensory system. And this is how your body sort of organizes the information coming in from all the proprioceptors contained in the skin, the fascia, all your connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, muscles themselves. Obviously, fascia being the huge sensory organ, the skin also being the huge sensory organ as well. So all that information is coming back to your central nervous system. The central nervous system processes it and creates the optimal motor output, or the best motor output. It's not always optimal, the best motor output from the information it's getting. So if it's getting faulty information because of suboptimal alignment, suboptimal sensory input, suboptimal alignment, things like that. Maybe I said that already. Motor control, then it will release or create a suboptimal motor control response. This is why we believe in corrective exercise and use corrective exercise as part of our strategy for helping improve the motor control output and also changing the sensory input, creating a better awareness, creating better alignment and sensory input so their client can sense information differently, become aware of information differently in the body, and then the central nervous system can react and create more optimal patterns. Part of the information that comes in is not just the somatosensory system and the proprioceptors and all the tissues I just mentioned, is also the systems of the visual system, your eyes, as well as the vestibular system, the inner ear. It also coordinates this information with the upper cervical spine. So you have this ocular cervical reflex, you have the ocular vestibular reflex as well. So it's coordinating the information that's coming in from the eyes, the vestibular system, and the upper neck. Well, we know many of our older clients, in particular, the ones that really struggle with balance, they have sometimes they have a dysregulation or a discoordination between these systems. One thing that happens is we start to lose peripheral vision. So obviously that's an issue because now we have to start to change, these individuals have to change their postural position, their head position, to create and look for what's happening in the periphery, where you and I generally have good peripheral vision, so we can walk and see. I can see as I'm walking on the floor here that there's something underneath my feet without having to physically look down at it. I may look down once I sense that it's in my visual path, but I don't have to keep looking down, and that's another reason why some of your older clients, they'll just look down because they've lost some of that peripheral vision. So obviously there's not much we can do about that, except for the eye doctors and ophthalmologists and all those specialists can help with that possibly. What we want to think about, though, however, is we should be able to move the eyes independent of the head and the head independent of the eyes. Obviously, the visual system and the systems organized with the eyes helps to keep the body, the head, level with the horizon. We know a lot of the rotation, 50% of our rotation comes from C1, C2. If our clients do not have great rotation through their head and neck, well, now instead of being able to keep their eyes relatively looking forward and or move their head independent of their eyes, well, now when they start to move their head, their eyes travel with them. Maybe they don't want to or need to do that. Maybe that can create other issues. So when they move their head and eyes, now they start to lose balance because we talked about the compromise of the vertebral arteries as well. So we want to teach our clients how to change the eye position so that if they're walking straight, for example, they can also just move their eyes and glance around their surroundings without having to move their whole entire head, which moves their entire body because they've lost a lot of cervical rotation. So eye dissociation exercises are a very effective way to train this function. Why do we lose eye dissociation? The number one reason many of us lose it is because we don't train it. You have 6 pairs of eye muscles, and they're muscles like any other muscles, skeletal muscles. They they move the eyes. So if we don't train them, and we don't train them also, I should say, we make them weaker and stiffer, just like any muscles become weaker and stiffer if you don't use them, because we're looking at screens, like I'm looking at you here in the screen, which is a good thing. You don't want me looking over here, right? So we're looking at the screen. But again, now we're looking at screens the majority of our day, whether it be our mobile phones, whether it be our tablets, whether it be our computers, our TV. We're focused on a very short distance and a very controlled, small field of vision. Where you think about in the past, we were always constantly scanning the horizon. We're scanning the horizon for predators, we're scanning the horizon for food, we're scanning the horizon to see where we're going. We're not focused so myopically, so to speak, on this narrow screen. So again, we start to lose this function of the eye. So again, a couple easy things you can do to help train your clients. First, just have them take their thumb. They can just go like this, focus their eyes far, and then focus on their thumb. Focus on something across the room, and then focus on their thumb. So you're training the eyes to move across the room, and then focus more on the thumb. So you can do that like 10 times. Then you can have you start to slowly move the thumb and move just the eyes, and you can help. It's hard to determine this on your own unless you record yourself, but you can determine and help your client determine which side. You're going to find like one side, their head starts to move because they have less ability to move their eyes or dissociate their eyes that direction. So you can have your client focus on or train the direction that they have more limitations in. So you can do the 6 cardinal planes. So you can check this plane, the horizontal plane, you can check the vertical plane up and down. You can also do the diagonals this way and this way. Find the direction that your client struggles the most and have them just work on that. Have them do that for a week, 10 repetitions, a couple times a day. Have them come back and recheck it, and it will probably be better, or should be better, because now you're training the eyes that direction. However, you can also then have your client focus on something. So I'll just focus on my image in the screen, and now you can sort of change the head position. So now you're still dissociating the head and neck, but now, I should say the eyes and the head, but now you're moving the head independent of the eyes. So again, another great way to do it. However, if your client does have vertebral artery issues, you may not want to choose that. Choose moving the eyes instead of the head. However, if your clients don't have vertebral artery issues, then use both strategies. We also talked about how you can keep your eyes focused on an object in the distance, and now you can move the whole body. So you're moving the whole body, full body rotation, and the eyes are focusing on that object. So again, you can rotate and keep the eyes, or you can just rotate the thorax, keeping the eyes and head straight forward, which is obviously very important for walking, because walking is the ability to de-rotate through the body so the eyes stay relatively level and looking straight forward. So just a couple different ways that you can start to work with the eyes, head movement, trunk motion, and eye dissociation to help your clients improve their ability to move their eyes independent of their head, to train the visual muscles. Obviously, you can do circles, you can, like I said, you can do diagonals, you can do squares, you can do close distances, you can do further away distance. Close, further? Yes, close and further away distances. So challenge your client's eyes and visual system. Challenge your ability to rotate underneath their head and neck if they can, if they don't have vertebral artery issues. And even clients that have vertebral artery issues, with permission, with clearance, you can still do some trunk dissociation, just keeping the neck long. So you're training the client to start to improve their thoracic rotation. And we've talked about that in the previous editions of this series. Hope that makes sense. Give it a go. Let me know what you think about it. If you have any questions, feel free to put them next to this post, and we'll see you next time here at Integrative Movement Insider. Happy Saturday. Continue to be that leader that your current clients need and your potential clients are looking for. Make it a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.